Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You are here on the home of the Slightly Above Average Ship Review. Pardon me. We are here on Crash, shown in a domination match in the campaign ship, the Tier 8 German premium battleship, the Pommern. Looking really quickly at WoW's builds, the damage record for the Pommern, 319,862. I have no idea how someone managed to get that much damage in this ship. I have a low opinion of it. When we start off here, I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot. So quickly, let's go over the history. This is a version of the H-class battleship design for the Kriegsmarine. Late 1930s, early 1940s. Blah, blah, blah. You know, some of them... they had different gun sizes from 16, 16 and a half, 18.9, 20 inches, different displacements and stuff like that. So whether the Pommern or not actually existed on paper, who knows, but these are 380 millimeter guns. So I wonder how much that is in inches. Let's see if I could type in the right website. 380 millimeters in inches. All right, so that's 14.9 or 15-inch guns, and that's not in the proposals I see. So who the heck knows? I think Wargaming just made this up to balance the ship, and let me tell you, I don't think it is balanced. Despite those numbers I've read to you, I played probably 30 games in this ship. The best damage game I had was about 125,000 damage. The worst games I had were much worse than that. I think this one is one where I was just said, I'm done recording Pommern games because it's so terrible. Now, I have heard some people on Reddit just shooting HE only and saying that let them have a better game due to fire chance. And that's great and everything. I just don't see that on this ship. That it has a great armor-piercing capabilities. So maybe shooting HE is the way to go. All right, get a GK over here. We're going to, I think, come to a stop against the island here because I am, by now, terrified to show any of my broadside to anybody. Because you get big chunks of health knocked off. Really quickly, let's go to the stats. As you can see, the secondaries are starting to go off. As far as our stat comparison, I chose hit points, firing range, AP DPM, max AA DPS, and C detectability, all courtesy of WoW's builds. Really quickly, I want to say... the overmatch for your shells is 27 millimeters. The arming threshold is 63 millimeters. Again, per WoW's builds. With our build, I think our secondary range is 11.9 kilometers. And we are using a base commander or a non-pay commander here. Dependent on your teammate's spotting, when that doesn't happen, you get to sit here and do nothing. We will shoot at the Hayate, and as you can see, these shells don't move very fast. We do set him on fire, and so that's great and everything, and we do get him for our first kill. Before moving over to the Yamato, Yamatos and Musashis absolutely terrify me in this ship. Absolutely terrify me. All right, stats comparison. Base stats only. Hit points. Out of 12 ships at Tier 8, you are 4th. Firing range, you are 8th out of 12 ships. Armor-piercing DPM, you are 6 out of 12 ships. Max AA damage per second, 6 out of 12 ships. C detectability, 5. Base value of 16. The highest is 16.2, the Izumo. The lowest is the Alsace and the Terrarium, whatever it is, 15.3. All right, so I built this for secondaries. I'm using the secondary commander, Otto Ciliax. But as you can see, you have to get close enough to the enemy ships for your secondaries to go off. And doing that in these other matches that I played, I usually found I died. Because this thing will get overpenned by Musashis and Yamatos, and I mean, I've been clapped so many times in this thing. Might as well just call it the clapper. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what this ship is supposed to hang its hat on. It's got low caliber guns. They don't appear to have a ton of velocity. Does it tell me shell velocity here? No, but it will tell me the sigma value is 1.5. And a higher number is better, so I'm guessing 1.5 really sucks. So that's your main guns, folks, 1.5 sigma. So you're not going to be very accurate. So then you're a brawler, but your secondaries aren't as good as the Prince Ruprecht. Your torpedoes aren't as good as the Prince Ruprecht. I mean, this really felt, despite some of the stats, more like a tier 7 ship to me. Again, maybe I'm terrible, maybe I just didn't, have the synergy with this ship that I hope for. Here we're going to try to put our bow in the pocket here and take out this Alaska. Obviously, 4 ships are shooting at us, and that's not good. I mean, I just hate to say it. This happened in a lot of matches where I used the survivability to last longer in the match. I would just end up getting shot at by multiple ships. Its torpedo mitigation is not that good, in my opinion. I think it's only 25%. And so you're supposed to be able to get in there and brawl with everybody, but I just didn't see that with this ship. The main battery doesn't hit very hard. The secondaries and torpedoes are outclassed by your tech tree counterparts. So I'm really kind of lost, and I don't think this is a very good ship. Maybe I'm playing it wrong. Maybe you guys are going to tell me, KPZ, you suck. And I would be like, yep, I know that. Like I said, I played about 30 straight matches in the ship trying to make it work. And I just could not make it work. And I think there are several Tier 7 German premiums that I would take over this ship in a 1v1 any day of the week. It just didn't feel good to me, didn't feel reliable, didn't feel impressive. I don't feel at any point any of my enemies were like, oh shit, here comes a Pommern, at all. And in the matches I played, even though admittedly I didn't play great, there was not a match where a Pommern finished ahead of at the top of the scoreboard. So I'm sure it is possible. Like I said, the WoW's Builds damage record is over 300,000. I would be curious to see a replay of that, just to see how much HE was being fired. And maybe he was top tier. I found myself down tier a lot in this ship, and very rarely at top tier. But even at top tier, I don't think this is a battleship that can carry a match. We got lots of ribbons, but we're not doing tons of damage. We're barely over 70,000 damage. And as you can see, we're getting beat up by enemy ships. Even an enemy Pommern, we're getting beat up. And something I'll talk about in the armor screen, these turrets get knocked out all the time. They have a terrible armor profile. It looks good in the port. It is not good in real life. I got my turrets knocked out all the time in the Pommern. All right, so here we're just going to go forward again, just trying to use cover. At this point, I'm probably shell-shocked and terrified from multiple matches in this thing. It just couldn't do anything good except for eat a lot of damage. The secondaries are good, but they're not great. There's never a point where I think, oh, I selected this destroyer to target with my secondaries, and they're going to kill him. I can tell you I feel that way when I'm in the Brandenburg. I don't feel that way about the Pommern at all. Its 150 millimeter guns have a long reload, and I just don't think the accuracy's there. There, another turret gets knocked out. by the enemy Pommern, who isn't taking any damage any better than I am. But again, the accuracy is so bad, you would think a broadside Pommern, you'd be able to pen it with your own guns to get a citadel. And I don't even think we hit him. We didn't get any shell impacts right there. And so the accuracy of the ship is displayed by the Sigma value. Really, really, really terrible. And then you're big, you're not very concealable in the water. So anytime a destroyer gets into a smoke screen, they can farm you for damage. I just, I'm left looking for the words on how to describe how this ship made me feel. We can't even get out of the way of a torpedo here. It's just not good at anything, in my opinion, except for providing XP to the enemy team. The guns are low caliber. The secondaries and torpedoes are lackluster. The AA is good, but it's very, very short range, just around the ship itself. So we're going to go back to the port and take a look at the ship. And maybe you will agree with me, maybe not. Who knows? All right, here we are in the port, the victory screen. 83,542 total damage. Again, my high damage game, about 125. Low damage game, much worse than this. Did have a couple kills and a assisted base cap. 104 secondary battery hits. We ended up with 263,910 silver. 5388 ship XP and commander XP. Finished third on our team, which isn't totally disappointing. But I'm wondering if the GK hadn't quit out, or maybe he just didn't do anything. I don't know. But I don't think this is a very good ship. And now I'm paranoid and wondering if you agree with me. But I played too many matches for it to be like a misnomer. And you can see the other Pommerns didn't really do anything either. So I'm left wondering if it's me, or maybe this just isn't a very good ship. And it's probably going to be due for some buffs later on. I mean, half of my games are in battleships. Usually I can pull at least one good match. And I just didn't have that. I mean, it was a match with more damage. I'm not saying it was better than this match, though. Just because you have more damage doesn't make it a better match. And I think this match kind of shows what I'm talking about. It's just not very good at anything, you know? All right, so let's go in the port and take a look. We got the secondary battery mod 2, the damage control system mod 2, the concealment system mod 1, and the main battery mod 3. I would not put an epic module on this ship, ever. Loadout, we've got 5 charges of the repair party. You will need them all. 3 charges of the enhanced secondary targeting, and 2 charges of a sonar, 6 kilometer for ships, 4 kilometer for torpedoes. Because we have 4 consumables, we are running the rare battle booster, as you can see right there. And we got the Type 9 permanent camouflage and the Pommern flag. Moving on to the stats, 81,900 hit points and a 25% torpedo damage reduction with our build. Got those 4x3 380 millimeter turrets, 17.2 kilometer firing range, 29.7 second reload, 42.4 second turn time. HE shells 4,600 max damage, 34% fire chance. AP shells 12,180 max damage. 2 sets of secondaries, the range of both is 11.1 kilometers. First set of 8x2 105s, reloads every 3.3 seconds, does 1,200 max HE shell damage with a 5% fire chance. Second set of 6x2 150s, reloads every 7.5 seconds, 1,700 max HE shell damage with an 8% fire chance. Torpedoes, you got 2 quad launchers, reload every 90 seconds, max damage 13,700, just a 6 kilometer range at 64 knots. The detectability is 1,300 meters. AA defense, as I stated before, these numbers look good, but it's all very short range, just around the ship, 3 kilometers and 4.5 kilometers. Could you get a clear sky? Probably. Would you be dead at the end of it? Yes. Just my opinion on the AA. Thankfully, I didn't have a carrier match to prove that. All right, max speed 31.9 knots, 940-meter turning circle. Abysmal 17.3 second rudder shift time. Concealment 13.7 on the surface, 11.5 from the air, 14.6 when firing in smoke. All right, taking a look at the armor viewer. Well, you have an above water citadel, partially above water, just a little bit, allegedly more heavily armored on the front, rear, and on the top. Barbets and the sides and rears of the turret they have okay armor. The faces of the turrets are heavily armored, but they are relatively flat. As you saw, you can easily get your turrets knocked out by the same ship's guns. We'll put the bow back on here in a second. You do have a armor belt of some sort, ranging between 32 and 50 millimeters, and then it's 32 millimeters above and below that. So I wouldn't expect that thing to do a whole lot for you. 38 millimeter side plating. The casemate armor includes an armor belt that goes up to 300 millimeters. And that is the armor profile of the Pommern. All right, here's our commander, fully maxed out auto celiacs. We built him out for secondaries. Base trait increased the AP shell damage. We went with a good day's work in row 1, porcupine in row 2. You could use crisscross, but then you would severely nerf your secondary range. Firefighter in row 3, master mechanic in row 4. You kind of have to have that. And fight fire with fire as our legendary skill. I'm sorry, ladies and gents. Either this ship isn't very good or it did not gel with me, but either way, that is the review of the Pommern. If you enjoyed my honesty, hit the like button. If you think better games are possible, please let me know in the comments. Although I can't tell you I'll be rushing to take this ship back out of port anytime soon at all. Anyway, hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.